I want to be very clear about something. I don't want this to happen. I hope we are never in this situation at all. However, we have to prepare for any sort of possible scenario. So the idea of trading Justin Jefferson. Now, I have been very upfront to say, as much as I have criticized leadership, I'm very fair in the sense that for any new regime, they need at least 3 years before you could say, all right, do we need to make a change here? Starting to call for heads. And that applies to Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell. Right now, they're in the middle of year 2, so we need to give them at least until the end of the 2024 season before, all right, let's come to the table. What do we think? Should changes be made? Under one condition, that you don't drive away the best player on your team, one of the best players in the league. If we come into a situation where Justin Jefferson says, I'm done, I want out, trade me, I take everything back, everybody should be fired. Because why would one of the best players in the league want to get traded? Because of the current state of the team. Who's responsible for the current state of the team? The GM and the head coach. So you're not going to sit here and burn the house down off of neglect and then also file an insurance claim and reap the benefits. Hell no, I'll be damned. You're not going to be responsible for Justin Jefferson wanting out of Minnesota, and then I'm supposed to trust you to get the best value in return, and then I'm also supposed to trust you to not screw up the draft picks that you do get in a Justin Jefferson trade. If he wants out, everybody should be gone. With that said, what would a potential, don't want this to happen at all, what would a potential Justin Jefferson trade look like? Well, we need some sort of context. So, for instance, I'm looking at the Tyreek Hill trade when he went from Kansas City to Miami. And for Kansas City, they got a first round pick, a second round pick, a fourth round pick, and a future fourth and sixth round pick. So, using that as a foundation, I think it's safe to say you can get at least 2 first round picks, I would say, as well as a third round pick, and let's say a future fourth or fifth round pick. I think that's where the starting point would be at. Justin Jefferson, hopefully he's a Viking for life and we never have to cross that bridge. Next, I want to talk about Kirk Cousins. He was asked about, would you ever consider waiving your no trade clause? And this I got from Kevin Seifert. Kirk Cousins said, quote, I am just very focused on the Bears and going 1-0 this week, and anything else is not worth my time or energy or attention. I'm actually glad he went ahead and addressed this head on. Now, it was presented to him as a question, but this is just a waste of time. It's good in the sake of content. If you want to put different videos and debates and all that stuff, should the Vikings trade Kirk Cousins and all this other stuff? He has a no trade clause. For a quarterback to consider waiving his no trade clause in the middle of the season means that he's going to go to a new team, a new system, having to learn new code words. That's too much. It's never going to happen. Versus, let's say, trading Danielle Hunter, he doesn't have to worry about that. As a pass rusher, my God, line up on the left or the right and get after the quarterback. That's all you got to worry about doing. Whereas the quarterback, there's way too many intricacies to say, all right, he'll be just fine. This man is playing for a future contract after all this upcoming offseason. So it's not going to happen. It's a waste of time, and I'm glad that he went ahead and talked about that. Now, whether the Vikings decide to play him the rest of the year, talking about tanking or not tanking, that's something different. Because this is, I just can't escape this dude being a member of the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings signed quarterback Sean Mannion to the practice squad. My God, he's back. And you can say, Randy, it's the practice squad. Who cares? He's not going to make an impact at all. What are you bitching and moaning about? And I say, au contraire. I've seen this movie play out before. Nick Mullins has been placed on IR, which means they are going to look for any reason to promote this guy to the active roster and be the backup quarterback. I would say, why not play Jaren Hall? But Sean Mannion, I'm not even kidding, has pulled off one of the greatest heists in American history. I remember not that long ago, to be a player in the National Football League, even if it's backup quarterback, you needed some skill. You needed to bring some sort of value to the team. So for backup quarterbacks, man, Charlie Batch with the Steelers, Josh McCown, Ryan Fitzpatrick, these are guys that could come off the bench if your starter got hurt and say, all right, you're not going to necessarily win because of them, but just don't screw up. But in the case of Charlie Batch and Ryan Fitzpatrick, man, they could win games. They could win you a couple of games. And with Sean Mannion, and we're talking about 2 regimes now where this has gone on, where it's just, I don't know, if I ask you, what skill does Sean Mannion bring to the table as far as a football player? You'll be thinking forever, or you'll pretend and come up with answers just to say, all right, well, he can do this. He can't do anything. And the fact that he had, I think this was back in 2019, him versus Cal Sloter, where it's just, this man, Sean Mannion, got the whole establishment behind him. Vikings media shaking their butt cheeks, one cheek at a time, telling everybody why Sean Mannion is so great. I'm not going to sit here and get worked up about this anymore. The man has a lifetime pass as far as unlimited job security. But if there's ever a time, I will give the Vikings credit somewhat. If there ever is a time to have Sean Mannion on your roster, and let's say your team tank, and you're going to shut down Kirk Cousins for the rest of the season, Sean Mannion is the perfect quarterback to have. You want to guarantee to win absolutely 0 more games? Sean Mannion is the guy. But man, I just can't escape this man. He's going to be on this team one way or another until the end of time. Congrats, bro. You did it.